Hello, hello, we're back. What would have last week's episode been? Sydney's? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow, that one was amazing. I'm so excited for you guys to see.
That one, we loved that
I love that one, and I keep thinking of everything she said. I mean, all of our guests were so amazing, and that's basically what we're going to dive into today. It's a little bittersweet, but today is our last episode of season 1, and we thought what better way to wrap it up by, reflecting on the past episodes we've had. And we literally started as amateurs. I mean, we still kind of are, like, we learned everything as we went, and this was really like a creative brainchild of ours, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm so proud of what we've achieved and the conversations we've had and the amazing people who've been so kind to join us. So yeah, let's celebrate. Yeah. I don't know if I bring the tequila that we took shots of first episode just for like that full circle moment, but it's definitely an exciting episode. So
no, I'm super proud of us too. Like, take two people that have never been in front of the camera. I mean, we really opened up, and we're vulnerable, and we're fun and witty. And I mean, you had amazing one-liners through this season. Like yesterday when we met, and you were like, we should reflect and talk about things that our guests have brought to the table. I mean, I've held on to a lot of things that you've said.
Oh, so. That's amazing. Well, I love that. And I think, every episode brought something so unique and so different. And I'm so happy. For those of you who haven't watched, I feel like this is a good Spark Notes opportunity to sort of like get a little recap of the season. And then we're going to like talk about our favorite parts or things that stuck with us. Let's do it. So should we start with the first episode?
Yeah, why not? Are we going in chronological order?
I think so. I think we've gotta do the full thing. So first episode was our first episode recording. I mean, I don't know if it's like not the right thing to do, but we've never recorded an episode.
Which I liked.
Yeah, me too. I didn't want to over engineer that. I was like, we just have to start somewhere. Yeah. And I think we both were like, regardless if this sucks or not,
absolutely,
it doesn't matter. And I think like with this kind of stuff, like it's an art, it's not a science, so you do what you want to do.
And we were taking a chance on each other and this whole process, and I think by being so raw, by it being literally our first take and our first time recording, like we're allowing our audience or our friends and our family that were listening to take a chance on us. So yeah, and it's funny because I want to pull that and Sydney, like,
sure,
because Sydney said something like,
the LinkedIn founder said, he said, because it stuck with me. That's like the one thing that really stuck with me is when you're starting a business, if you're not embarrassed by your first product, you started too late. And I was like, back. And so I really agree with that. I think you just have to have courage, put your ego aside, and you want to do something, do it. Just go for it. And I think we did it. And it's so different than anything, like we said, that we've ever done. And I think it's all about trying new things. And we got to try something new.
Yeah,
and I'm so pumped.
The Band-Aid.
Yeah, we did. And some themes that we talked about in that first episode, at least the ones that come to mind, both just embracing life's bumps and, recognizing that we're not in the places that we've idealized or thought we should be in. And I don't even think those are even worthy places to be in. Like, it's just all these ideas of what your path should look like. It's all bogus. It's all made up. And we all have a unique path. And I think we were able to communicate that and also kind of weigh in on both of our past industries and jobs and just leaving corporate and leaving that life behind for now. Who knows? Never say never. But also like closing a door and being confident about it and like diving into the deep end and trying. So, you know, that's definitely what I feel like this is.
Oh,
the deep end.
I mean, it's like Miley Cyrus just won the Disney Award.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And she said, like if you don't try, you're failing. Right. Like, at least we tried and we put our hearts into it. And,
yeah,
you know, we really came a long way. Like, we didn't have lights.
No.
Like, our lighting sucked
No.
ass. We didn't know, like, to toggle HDR on our iPhone cameras.
Yeah, we're still figuring out our camera.
Yeah, like our camera situation is, you know,
it's basically
TBD.
iPhones, but honestly, they're good. And like, I think that's the thing is like, there's really, it's a low barrier to entry. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's hard is like the courage and putting your ego aside and like doing the fucking thing. Like, just do it. And
Nike.
Yeah, Nike. But like, it's true. Like, I think like all this stuff, like everyone has an iPhone. You can start a podcast. Why aren't you?
Right. You have something to share?
Share it. So yeah, I think that was like a ripping the Band-Aid type of episode and a silly one.
No, it was a good one. And I'm definitely not embarrassed by it, but like just someone that comes from the production side of the world. Like we really could have done a better job, or I could have done a better job for us. But in the grand scheme of things, like I like our projection, and I like how I think I really feel like every episode it just got better and better.
For sure. And I think that's all you could want is like that it just gets better, and or that it's us and authentically us, and we're happy about it. So cheers to that. Second episode, just to kind of switch it over. All right, we had verbal tattoos, which is like a phrase.
Everyone.
Shock. Wow. Yeah, no, it was like, that was like my first time definitely like sharing that story with anyone aside from my dad and Jake. So, you know, quite the story, and something in the concept of a verbal tattoo is something someone says or something you hear that really never goes away and sticks with you. And you know, I think when you're a kid, you're so impressionable and you don't really realize like the impact words have on you when you grow. And so really reflecting on it, I feel like that episode was a therapy session for me, candidly, because I was like, oh wow, I've never really like told this story like this. And I felt like I almost learned something from it and was able to leave it behind me too, which is crazy because it was something that just like sort of sat with me all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that episode I was able to say it, and finally it like drifted, which is which is a great thing. So I think for me selfishly it was like a great episode.
Which is ironic to the title because a tattoo is so permanent.
Right.
Wow.
So, you know, like we lasered that tattoo off.
I love that.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow. Well, I'm happy. I'm grateful that you allowed me to hold that space for you and that you were able to open up because,
of course,
I mean, my jaw dropped, and I know, I'm sure other people like listening to that would never assume that you've been told things like that, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Yeah, you guys have to go. You guys have to go listen if you want to know. But I think like the world, or we evolve as people. Like we don't say mean things like that.
Yeah.
And I think back then, like high school was, not that it isn't, and today has a million other issues, but I think things weren't PC at all, and that doesn't give anyone any excuse to say anything horrible. But I think coming from a teacher, that was crazy and also funny. And the feedback I got after that was really great. Like I had so many people from high school reach out and be like, you have to email her.
I really hope you do.
And I was like, listen, I'm not going to do that, but I'm not stopping you if you want to. So I don't know. Maybe she saw this, or maybe she didn't, but either way, it doesn't weigh on me anymore. So that's great.
I'm glad. Let that go.
Let it go.
I mean, something I really took from that episode and has stuck with me for so long is that it really is, what's the word that we use? A projection.
Yeah.
She was projecting on you, like maybe
Right.
things that she felt within herself. And it was such a low ball insecurity
Yeah.
bash. And unfortunately, you were on the other end of that
Yeah.
stick. So I mean, still to this day, it's
Yeah.
mind-boggling that someone who, you know, we're taught to look up to or to learn from can say such
Right.
hurtful
Or is a
things.
mentor who actually, you know, knows you and
Yeah.
was invested in you. And I just think, like, we all have a responsibility with, you know, how we talk, especially to children. And I think as a teacher, to have like, be empowered to say something like that to a student. Like, I think about my daughter, or like my future daughter, or like my kid, and I just, like, it really, like, you don't have the right to say that.
No.
Like,
at
you're a
all.
teacher, shut the fuck up. Thanks.
Period. End of story.
But what was your verbal tattoo? I think you had a couple.
People telling me that I wasn't deserving to go to Duke.
That's crazy. And then also being told you can't be a mom,
Yeah.
and how that quickly
Jokes on them.
Yeah, exactly. So some of these tattoos, I guess, are not tattoos after all. They're more like the ones that you
Yeah, I
put
mean,
on as a
they're
kid.
more like, I would call them now, like building blocks.
Yeah.
That really helped us soar,
Yeah,
if that's like the right word to use.
for
'Cause,
sure.
you know, you did not become the word that she said
No.
that you were. And I became a mom and I ended up going to Duke. So
Yeah.
sucks to
Yeah,
suck.
it's just
to all these
experiences. Exactly. Sucks to suck. Okay, third episode was it Expectations?
Mm-hmm.
That one was, I feel like, your first time
Crying.
kind of really opening up and being vulnerable to that level. And I think you were also in a different part of life, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think, like, a lot of life has happened since that episode.
Yeah.
What would you say about it?
I think when we recorded that episode, I was really on the mean ends of my postpartum depression. And I think it was finally a moment for me to word vomit things that I was holding in my gut.
Yeah.
Looking back, I don't know. It was such a weird time because I feel like I fully blacked out that episode.
Really? Oh my God.
I can't even remember what I said in that episode.
Well, we
to be
talked
honest.
about, you know, expectations and obviously
Being a mom.
Yeah, being a mom and the pressures that you hold on yourself and that you feel other people hold on you. And it was just, like, very heavy, and you could tell, like, how heavy you were feeling in that moment.
And it's interesting because I think back then I really did feel the new pressures of becoming a mom. And I think I spoke on that in that episode about all the expectations that I felt.
Yeah.
And now, you know, fast forward a few months later, I don't think I feel those same pressures, but I do have a different feeling of mom guilt. And it's not the guilt that, like, mothers give, like the guilt trips that moms give. It's
Right.
more of the guilty feelings that I feel as a mother, in terms of feeling guilty dropping off Noah or asking for help from a family member or a friend to watch her for an hour or so. Like, I feel the guilty feelings about that, or I feel guilty, you know, eating dinner by myself when, like, Noah's out with her dad. Like, you know, it's just like silly
Small things that just kind of pop in your day, and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? And, like, I didn't think I'd ever feel that kind of feeling.
So I don't bring this up to, like, bring up another topic, but it's just to show that, like, you know, something that we said or felt months ago shift. And
right. It can change, and new expectations come up, and new ideas of how things should be come up. And I think I mean, there's many takeaways from that episode and from what you're saying, but I think one of them is like, our minds are very busy, and I think 90% of what we're thinking at any moment is like bullshit. And I think you need to like decipher what you're thinking and make sense of it. Cause like, at least for me, my thoughts are like constantly coming in, and you just have to like organize them a bit.
Yeah.
You know? And I think you did a good job reflecting on those then, but also right now, like acknowledging that they evolve and you've overcome those, and there's new ones that come in. So it's a pattern. Things happen, but that's human, and that's also a theme.
You know, things come and go. People come in and go. You learn new things. You feel new things, and it's just a matter of processing. And processing takes a different amount of time for everybody.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Episode 4, we had our very first guest of honor, your sister, Sophia. And that was so fun. That was really fun. That was, I mean, again, like our first real guest, and a different production, right? Because we had a third person, so we had to make sure that area was looking good. And I thought it came out great.
Same.
And she crushed. She's such a personality in herself, and has just the most profound brain. And like you could see her thinking, and I was like, we need more of this. I'm like, we need more of you. And the topic was friendships, and specifically, I mean, the bumps that happen in friendships, but also, you know, the good that happens with friendships, and how, you know, things are ever evolving in friendships as well. And I thought she did a really good job at kind of highlighting the highs and lows, but also full circle. Like, she just had such a positive, like, view. Like, everything that, like, she shared, negative or not, there was always a twist at the end that was like, but it's all good. And it's like, does it affect me now? Like, I don't know. Like, she's so resilient, and that's what I got from it. And a lot of people reach out to me about that episode saying that they so relate with her experiences. And yeah, so super grateful that she came on.
Same. Imagine living with her, growing up with her. It's interesting because that topic that we had, I feel like could be a whole podcast
in itself,
like just a friendship podcast.
I mean, a lot of the topics, I feel that way.
Yeah, there's so much to dive in with that general topic, and that subject and is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I admire Sophie for wanting to come on and wanting to open up about things, because you know, I've witnessed it myself.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that someone can look so okay and so good on the outside and feel all these things on the inside. And that's from a friendship.
Right.
That's just to show, like, something that you should be so confident in can affect you so hard.
For sure.
So, yeah, I admire her for coming on and being open and sharing that. And there's a lot more to those stories.
For sure.
So she only really brushed the surface.
Yeah. I feel like she's the perfect person to kind of bring on to talk about it even more, because I think there's just so many parts to it. And I saw her TikTok also talking about it. Mm-hmm. And just highlighting like the red flags, the green flags, also just, you know, going back to expectations. Like, you expect so much of your friends, and sometimes that's on us to manage those expectations, because some people are not going to be like you. And so I thought she just did a really good job at kind of highlighting all of it.
For sure.
So, okay. The order gets jumbled for me from there.
Pregnancy?
Yeah. Was it pregnancy?
I think so.
Yeah. It was Emma's pregnancy story. And that was definitely a roller coaster that you took all of us on with your story. Definitely unconventional, whatever that means. And just shows you that life brings you blessings out of nowhere, like where you're like, whoa, I didn't even know this could happen, and it happened to you?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I don't even know how to add to that.
What was the feedback? I feel like all your friends and family were so jazzed about it.
Wow,
they
they
like
were so
they could listen to
excited.
that like time and time and time again.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I got really good feedback. I loved that that episode felt like one entire story.
Yeah.
And not like an interview kind of
Yeah.
feel. I felt like it was the first episode that I really got to like open up and share like silly moments of myself, deep moments, like sad moments. I don't know, like all the emotions
Yeah.
in one. It's also, I was thinking about it. I didn't keep a journal when I was pregnant because I've never been really pulled to journal, and having that episode is kind of a journal in itself.
Yeah.
To listen back to and like just remember your whole story. So I don't know. I'm really happy that we did.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. It was amazing. And I think it highlighted a lot of things that women experience but are taboo and don't really talk about. Like, one, being told you can't have a kid, can't conceive, to, not having like the order of operations, like as you've thought. Like, I don't think that's really a thing at all. So, just a lot of things people can relate to, but maybe don't necessarily want to talk through, or, it's just hard to find people to relate to in those ways. And
For
so
sure.
I think you gave people like a window, and it helped a lot of mothers, and it helped a lot of women it also gave hope, I think, to women who are looking to, yeah, I think so. So hats off to you.
Thank
Hats off to
you.
David and Noah.
Thanks.
That was a great one. The self-reflection episode, our first one, where we played a game. I felt like that was
so
fun and
fun.
silly, and like honestly my favorite to record, because it's just like,
It's laid back.
Yeah.
It's friendly. It's fun.
sometimes you just need a break from
Juicy.
like the serious heavy stuff, and you also like need someone to kind of come up with creative questions. And so I love those games that like challenge you to think differently and answer questions you've never even thought of. And
For sure. No, it was a
and,
great
yeah.
idea on your part.
It's fun. I love those things when I'm with like my friends without a podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we got to do that.
Playing those games is so important. I think we talked about it in that episode where it's like we don't give ourselves that grace or that time to really reflect on things.
Yeah.
So having that, our opportunity to do so, and these are questions that you typically ask other people, and then to take that chance and ask yourself is crazy.
Yeah.
But also to point out that, when people hear the word bumps, you typically think of the negative.
Right.
And having episodes like that where we're able to reflect on positive bumps
Yeah.
in addition to negative, like, it's huge. So
Right.
I want to commend us for doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope that you guys were able to like play with us, because a lot of these questions are obviously very broad, and that was also the feedback I was getting, that like while we were asking each other questions, people were reflecting themselves.
Yeah.
So I live for that. I really
Yeah.
do. Okay. Was it Michaela after?
Oh, yeah.
Was it? Michaela.
We both, people can like,
When I say her name, my heart literally flutters. Like it like goes like boom boom. Because like, whoa.
yeah. No, if people could see like our text thread after recording that session.
I'm like still shooketh. I still like don't even know if I'm okay. She was so inspiring and left me speechless. I thought we were like diving into a conversation, about, I don't even remember what the topic was. And it was just like, she just embraced us with like
Knowledge.
so much knowledge and wisdom and
power.
wit and grace and power, and like gave us honestly the tools we didn't know we freaking needed. Like, we were blown away. And I think, one, obviously creating boundaries with yourself and with others was a huge takeaway.
I mean, the one-liner that she said that I think both of us and everyone else listening, like, struck gold. Like, if it's a maybe, it's a no. Like, I use that every single day.
Right. It's like, if there's doubt, there's no, it's like, it just, sometimes you have to hear it from someone for it to really land in your brain and be like, okay, yeah, you make 100% a lot of sense. And just the way she communicated it and applied it into her life and just talked about her experiences and where she, you know, what stage of life she's in. And I you know, so appreciated her vulnerability, and she's so eloquent. And I'm just, you know, proud that we were able to welcome her in and thank her for her time. And I have been following Diary of Aquila. And let me tell you, it's like, I have, so you know how you could save like collections on Instagram of like things. So I have a bunch of collections that I've been collecting for years and years and years. And I have like a mood board collection, which is things that just like give me this like fire.
Fun fact.
Yeah. And I'm like, I literally am so proud of them. I want to publish them. But they're like it's like a magazine virtually that I've just done for home for a million things. And everything she posts, I save. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, you could just see the culture and the spice that like hits her, and it hits me too. Like, I love her brain. I love that episode. And yeah, if you guys haven't heard it, please.
It's a good one to start with, honestly.
Oh, honestly, like it's a bang. Like, yeah. What did you think? Like, how did it make you feel?
I mean, I just love the way that she carries herself.
Yeah.
I think she carries herself with such confidence.
Yeah.
And grace. And you said it right. Like, the way she speaks is so eloquent, and every word has intention with it. And I think I just left there with my jaw on the floor.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think, you know, it reminded me that like it's so important to surround yourself with people who bring you up and who encourage you and are uplifting, not necessarily judging, but like, you know, just kind of giving you that push in the most like gentle, sweet way. And so thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
And that was a good one. I'm probably going to listen to regularly.
Again and again and again. Yeah. Yes. Just also like setting those boundaries. I think that's something also I took away. She talked about creating those boundaries within yourself and with your family and with your friends. And you don't have to share everything, and you don't have to know everything. And that's good. And
then we had the one, the only, Kenzie.
Pew, 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 pew.
She is a doll and so wise. I hate saying that because I'm like literally 22. No, I'm not. I'm like almost 30. Like almost 29, guys. But like, I don't know. I talked to her and I felt like I was talking to someone that I admire and look up to, and like, just she taught me so much. And she's still so young, which is so crazy. And so that blew me away, just that. And yeah, I mean, she lived so much life.
Yeah, I mean, talk about someone who's really thrown into the deep end really early.
Yeah.
You know, this is someone who's extremely young, but well mature beyond her years and in her brain. And, you know, she does have a lot of experience that she can talk about and share wisdom.
Right.
Like, you know, it's not a bad thing to say that you learn something from someone that's so young or someone that's younger than you. It's, you know, we can learn from each other at all ages and all times in our lives. So, yeah, I think just talking to her about comparisons and, you know, talk about someone who's admired and very well known in the world.
Yeah.
And she is so human and still compares herself to certain people. And things every day in her life, it's normal.
Yeah. And I think, her discussing how she manages that and is able, she goes to the beach and is able to be more present and kind of take breaks from her phone and take breaks from socials. It like makes her feel like she's just like us, like we all go through that. And I also think, one, I'm blown away that she was this comfortable kind of being vulnerable with the things she was vulnerable about. And so I thank her for that comfortability. She's so talented. Like, she does everything. She sings, dances.
And
She
came out
with her album shortly after, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And so exciting.
And talk about vulnerable.
Right.
That album is extremely vulnerable. So she not only was she sitting on this couch,
Yeah.
Being open to us, but she let herself go deeper with her music, which is very inspiring.
And we got to get a window into the Kenzie community because obviously she has such a like passionate and robust following that they like all came along for the ride, and like some stuck with us and have been watching. So I thank her for sharing her community with us. And
loyal fans
who love her, and I get why. And yeah, so that was really cool, and I just have so much admiration for her. And I like a lot of things stuck with me from that too.
Love my Kenzie girl.
I know I've only like met her twice, but she has a special place in my heart just from our conversation. So yeah, that was great.
I love that.
Yeah. And then we had Megan, who came on again. Everyone's so vulnerable. Megan really showed a side that many people really don't want to talk about, and that is, your health issues and challenges and endometriosis. So for those of you who haven't listened and who want to kind of get a window into that, it was an informative one, and by no means were we ever claiming to be doctors or knowledgeable about those things, but I think it was like testimonials, and Megan is such a great communicator and person, has such a big heart. I just knew that she'd be so complimentary to you with just sharing, the endo story. You guys both have a lot in common, but also every story is so different in discovery and diagnosis. So I think like drawing the similarities and differences between your stories with the same diagnosis is just very eye-opening.
Thank you for bringing her and introducing me to her.
Yeah.
And again, creating that space for both of us to open up and share. And it's nice, like we all, like the three of us all, I think, share such hardship and complications with our reproductive health. So I don't know. I thought that was just very nice. I don't know if nice is the word to use, but it just
felt honestly very comforting to know that we can all relate, because sometimes when you're in your health journeys or any journey and you feel alone in your struggles, like just knowing that someone feels similar things or is going through a similar journey just makes you like, even if you don't get any solve for it, like it just feels better knowing that someone's by your side and going through that too. And I'm yet to like really find that in my community, like celiac, like I don't really know another celiac. So like I think meeting someone with that would be really fun, because I'd be like, wow, like we have each other and like we created a community. And Meg and I have talked so many times about our health and the journey, and I just think she's such a force when it comes to this, and she doesn't take no for an answer, and she's diligent, and she taught me personally a lot of lessons that I now like am influenced by, and I'm like, okay, now I'm calling my people, because I'm like, she has a point about this, has a point about that.
Yeah.
And I think she's just like a really great person to continue speaking on these matters, and I encourage her to keep doing it, because this is like the push I like want her and so many women to have. It's like, share your stories, because there's so many people going through the same things. Yeah.
I mean, and I think you also mentioned it in that episode where it's like you're your only advocate.
Right.
And I think Megan's a great testament to that, because she is someone who, you know, found out or figured out that she was feeling a certain way, and she did her due diligence by researching and like looking up all these things for her to then like question her doctor,
and get like a doctor, a surgeon or whoever operates, telling her they didn't find what she was looking for, and then not giving up and going again. So like I think that just gave me such a push under my ass to be like, don't give up. Give up.
Because of that, I now know what's going on inside of me, where I now have to get a surgery.
Isn't that amazing?
Like, because
it's like a snowball.
Yeah. Because she was like, I looked up on Google these images and like, yeah, they're gross. Like, I was like, okay, I'm feeling X way. I don't know. Like, someone threw the word out to me about what it could possibly be. And I was like, I don't know what that word is. I looked it up. I went on to Google images, and then I took a mirror and I was like, I have that.
Whoa.
I have that. And I took it to my doctor and he confirmed that I have it.
Whoa.
So thank you to Megan.
Wow.
Because
so it's something that you probably thought was just endo and some other stuff, but it's like a combination.
Now just a separate issue.
Wow. And from her episode, you kind of were encouraged to look into some things you were feeling.
Yeah.
That's the power of that, babes. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan, because it's really hard to share. Like, I attempted and I couldn't. And it's never like, you don't just like end at a final destination with your health. It's very ongoing and fluid, and like hindsight's 20/20 always. But like when you're in it, it's so confusing. Mm-hmm. So being able to come here and sort of paint a picture in like 50 minutes, not even, of what I'm sure is days and days long of struggle from both of you is, you know, it's really hard. So thank you to both of you. Okay.
And then Men Tell All, my favorite episode of Shira.
Oh my God.
Period. Exclamation mark. Exclamation.
I think it's just like when you're in love with your husband, like you just can't help but like, I love him so much.
I love your dynamic. I love the two of you together. I love the way you look at him. I love the way he feeds off of you. Like, and I'm so glad that we did that.
Oh. Me too.
Like, look at me. I'm like, I when I talk about you two, I smile from ear to ear because it's so genuine and it's so contagious.
Oh,
so
thank you. Oh my God, it was so fun. I was like, you know, so Jake has a business and he's running this business, and I was like, is it okay if you come on our podcast? I know it has nothing to do with golf or business. Like, are you going to be okay?
I mean, but we talked about golf.
Yeah, many times. I was like, are you going to be okay? Like, can we talk about other things? And he's like, yeah, I'm down. So I'm glad it was fun. And David, that was so much fun to have him on. See you two together. You guys just tease each other and are like literally best friends. Like, you could just tell you're like,
we're children.
You have the best time together, and you're like both you're each other's hype people, but you're also very like you said, good at communicating, good at like saying how it is. Like, I don't think there's anything you don't know that he's thinking, or that.
Yeah, like, we talked about this the other night.
Right?
Every so often, I would say maybe once a month, I look at David and I go, is there something that I don't know about you? He's like, Emma, I'm pretty sure you can like
write an autobiography.
Yeah. He's like, you can like probably draw the back of my hand better than I can.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. Like, I love getting to know every single, like the way he breathes, like what he eats. Like, I just love that man.
You're like observing him, like,
yeah, I love him to his core. So it was just so funny to have him here because I thought he was going to be a lot more jokester.
Yeah.
Maybe because he was hungover. Like, he couldn't be joking. But he said some really deep things that shocked me, and he was serious. Like, I thought he was going to be joking the whole time. So.
Is he usually not deep?
No, he's a deep man. Like, when we have date nights and stuff, like, I love our date nights because
he gets there.
Yeah, and he's also just a very how do you say it? Reflectory? Reflect.
He's like likes to reflect. Like,
he loves to reflect.
Introspection. He introspects, and he like is very observant.
Very. And he loves the little things.
Yeah.
You would never know.
That's so sweet.
This man, like,
what a good guy.
For birthdays, Valentine's Day, for any special occasion, he does the small gestures that make it so grand. Like, he will go and print out photos and, like, turn them into a shape of a heart and like give it to me. Like, he's just very thoughtful
and sweet.
So I'm very proud of him for how he carried himself.
Yay to the husbands. They crushed. And I was every question I was asking them, I was like, please don't answer this wrong. Like, I was like, don't say something offensive to women. Like, not that they would ever, but I don't know. Like, guys are just fucking guys, even if they're the best.
Yeah,
like,
they think with their dicks.
Sometimes they don't, but they impressed me. Like, they blew me away, and they had a lot of insight, and it was just fun and, like,
agreed,
wholesome.
Love
and it was a family affair.
It was. We fed them bagels before.
Yeah, so they were well fed and ready to go.
It's the key to any man. Just feed them.
Just feed them, and then you get what you want.
Yep.
Yeah. It's true.
Love it. And then Soleil.
That one's fresh because we just had that. I need a minute. I need a minute.
Near and dear to my heart. I don't know if we shared this on the episode, but Noah's middle name is Soleil. And I got it from Soleil.
Wow.
Yeah, Soleil, I love her like she's my own sister. She's not only, again, like, I think you guys all probably saw it and heard about it in the episode, but she did my makeup for my pregnancy shoot.
Wow.
And I was in that moment trying to find the right middle name for Noah, and I knew that I wanted it to be something that had to do with Sophie, my sister, and then Leah, David's sister. And I searched and searched and searched for so many names, and as she's doing my makeup, she has a necklace that says Soleil. She's doing it, and I'm staring at it like it's bouncing on her neck as she's, like, dabbing my foundation. And I'm like, oh my god, that's the name. She's like, that's my name. And I'm like, no, that's the name. Like, that's what I want for Noah's middle name. Yeah. So, full circle moment. You could say I named Noah after Soleil. You could say that it was after Sophie and Leah. You could say that Soleil means son and Noah's my son. I also, like, in Hebrew, N-S, Ness means miracle.
Right.
So, also, like...
It's a beautiful name.
So, thank you, Soleil. I love your name.
Her name's just as beautiful as she is, and she's as beautiful as her name, if not more. Like, her heart, her soul, her spirit, her... everything. Just I don't think we ever had a conversation aside from the one that you guys saw, and I felt so connected to her the second she sat down. I don't know, she's so infectious, and so, like, I know she was in, like, my home and in our space, but I felt like so welcome in her presence. And I mean, the loss and the experience that she shared is something I don't think either of us can relate at that level. And having a conversation with someone who's gone through what, seems like is the worst thing ever to happen, it's like you don't know what to say, right? We talked about this. Like, you don't know what to say, like, what the right thing to say is, because there's nothing to say. Like, there's nothing to say. So it really, took me a second to even frame how I even make her feel comfortable. But she said something so beautiful, which is, you know, sometimes you just want to say, like, I'm here for you and I love you. And when you're ready, we're here. And like, I think that's what you say when you go through, or when you hear something so heavy and so sad that someone's been through, like saying, I'm sorry, it just doesn't quite cut it, right?
Yeah. Well, it's testament to actions speak way louder than words.
Yeah.
You know, like in a hard moment like that, again, there is really nothing right to say, but to say what you could do as an action.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, that's what I was going to share as like my takeaway. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. And her mother just seems like she was such a beautiful person. And I could see, like, the apple didn't fall far from the tree at all.
Her legacy is shining on.
and I obviously don't know her and haven't met her, but you know, it's very evident that they had such a loving relationship and they loved each other so much, and they're very similar. And so thank you, Soleil, for coming on and, you know, diving into a topic that I don't know is unimaginable to talk about, and to trust us, because obviously, like, this is a strange place and not something maybe you're used to. So thank you.
Yeah. And then Emily.
Oh my God, that literally just happened. My girl. Oh, that was great and so fun. And actually, fun fact about Emily and I, we like talked way back. We're like, we should do a podcast.
No way.
Yeah. And it never happened. And like, I was slammed and she was slammed, and like, it was kind of just like a fun thing. But I'm so happy we got to all collaborate on something.
She's one of the most creative people you'll ever meet.
Yes.
And like you said on the podcast, very unapologetically herself.
Yeah.
Which I think anyone who meets her admires.
Yeah. Witty and silly and beautiful and wise. I'm just so lucky for the friends I have, and I'm blessed that she wanted to come on and share some of the goods with us. And, you know, this topic of romanticizing her life, like when we thought of bringing her on, like it just popped. And I was like, she embodies romanticizing.
Oh yeah, she is the definition.
She is the definition of romanticizing in so many ways. And it's not just, like she says, about the grand things. It's about being grateful, having gratitude in the small, big, mundane moments, being present. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of lessons there. So thanks, Em. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I loved, there was another thing that I wanted to mention, because not only do I think she embodies that, but she also embodies the work hard, play hard mentality. And I think the way she mentioned that life should be fun is something I think everyone should hear and everyone should keep in their back pocket, because you know, you only do really live one life. And if you don't wake up every day excited or happy, of course everyone's going to have
different situations and
sad moments, hard moments, whatever, but like overall you should look back on your life and be happy, and you know, make sure that you do take the time out of a day to do at least one thing that you love, whether that be to call someone and hear someone's voice, or like go on a run, or like dance around for 5 minutes. Like something to lift you up is so important.
For sure.
And
no,
she
definitely
really, I think, brought that up.
Yeah, she did. And I think also her showing that it wasn't always like that, and it took a lot of learning and a lot of experience with herself, sitting with herself alone, learning who she is, knowing like what's good for her nervous system, what isn't. Like, I think those are all valuable things for us to do to ourselves, because like, you should, you know, don't beat yourself up if you're not there. You're not, like, embrace that suck, and then learn how you can fulfill yourself and fulfill your heart, and even in the small things, like having appreciation. So yeah, I don't know. I'm inspired. I like this. It's a topic we talk about all the time together. And so I'm glad we got to kind of open it up.
I love it.
Yeah.
Huge. And then Sydney.
Sydney.
I mean, we like mentioned her in the beginning.
Yeah.
But
Sydney. Oh, wow. To end like the guests with a bang.
mm-hmm.
She is the founder and creator of French Squirrel.
Oh, they were so good.
She brought us snack. I was like, is she gonna bring us snack?
Yeah, honestly, same. But
and she did.
She
what a
did.
sweetheart.
But like, look at our willpower.
I know.
We waited until the end.
I know.
How did we not start with that?
I was like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I want to eat. So, but we waited, and I'm so glad we did because my mouth was like on the floor. Her journey and her mind and the balance she showed us between, you know, I thought, you know, thinking about it, and I don't know, it's just assumptions, is like you're going to talk to someone who's intense and go-getter and like, you know, she's at Erewhon, she's this, you like think you're going to like be met with some sort of energy, and then she comes in and she, you know, just felt to me so balanced and in friendly, like in her life, but like with her spirituality and her, you know, femininity and kind of tuning into her hormone health and her life, but also being a badass businesswoman. And I just finding like kind of like the pie chart, like it just felt like she's achieving like, and I mean, we all are, it's a work in progress for all of us, but like it just feels like she prioritizes and values balance.
Yeah.
And that was so refreshing
huge
to hear, especially from someone who has goals or who's met goals and continues to achieve goals that all of us kind of have, like that moment of like, oh my God, we fucking did it. Like we did this and she did it, and she's still Sydney and like doing her thing and doing what makes her happy, and is going to her dance classes and her rabbi. And I was just like eating it up. I was like, this is sick. And then French Squirrel, the snacks were like
so good.
Divoon, so good.
So good.
So good. I gave them to Emma because I was like, I'm gonna be eating all of this. I'm gonna take the
I
one
ate
date.
I ate them.
I'm like, go take it because it's not gonna be good. But it's healthy. They're healthy and they're gluten free. Amazing.
No, I ate them on my way home.
Yay. That's so worth it.
Yeah, no, I think she's a very well-rounded human. She taught us so much. And I think something that I really learned from her is that she, you know, take this person that you think has their shit all together. Like she's really learning as she's going.
Yeah.
So I love that about her, and I love that she's just like a day by day kind of girl. Like, yes, she plans very meticulously and like very far out in advance, and she'll know exactly what I'm talking about when she hears this. But at the same time, she's very open to everything around her, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, I loved her, and that was really the first time, like we've talked here and there online, but that was the first time like I really,
oh my God, I felt like I've known her. She walked in and I felt like I've known her for like, we've had history. Like, I don't know. It was special. And I don't know. She like embraced her human qualities so well. Like just from what you said of like, you know, booking everything and obviously being a business owner and running a company, a CPG brand. Like I'm sure no day is the same, as she's confirmed, and it's a crazy life. But I think when she said like she gives herself that time and the room to like be adaptable and give her time to be a human being, I was like, that was a good reminder for all of us to like, okay, we're not machines, and let's like water ourselves,
for sure,
you know, take care of ourselves. So thanks, Sydney.
Yeah, no, that
was epic.
She was great. She felt like a friend like I've known for a while and haven't seen in like a year or two. Like I watched this, I think it was a podcast, and they said, you know, you have a good friend when like you can go so long without speaking or seeing them, and like it's kind of like that they were just in the bathroom and they came out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
And whatever. Like she's just one of those people that I feel like she was in the bathroom for like
And you felt like you've
4
known her.
days, and she came out, and I'm like, okay, so back to what we were saying.
Yeah, she's very, very talented, and I look up to her. And yeah, that was an amazing last guest.
Loved it. Look at
Wow.
us go,
What
Shishi.
a great season. I'm so happy we got to experience this together.
Me too.
And all of you, thank you for listening and trusting us and, tuning in. And I think, there's a podcast for everyone. And the fact that you're choosing to listen week over week means so much. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We love you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Now
Break all
everything
the
breaks.
equipment.
Yeah.